Alright, so welcome back to part 2. We've looked at the mobile suit. Now let's take a look at weapons. First up is the GN Sword 2 blaster. This is a combination of a sword and a rifle together. The sword blade being across the bottom here in clear green. The rifle parts being molded in gray plastic. There's some blue over here for a handguard and another clear green piece up here. While there's a lot of detail molded in, there's not a lot of color. It could definitely stand to have some extra color pieces here, maybe some chrome or something to break up the large chunks of plastic. But it does look nice, and with some extra paint you can make it look really nice, I believe. So this is the sword mode, nothing fancy. No moving parts except for the handle over here. To make it into rifle mode, separate the stock and the handle, fold the handle down, and you can move the stock wherever you want to. So it looks pretty nice. Attachment point here in the back that plugs into the back of the arm, and there's a couple of different pegs, peg holes for the hand. When you get everything lined up, you have a pretty good secure connection. And the sword is not very heavy, so it can hold it up pretty straight for a while at least. It'll probably sag over time, but it looks good on the hand. I cannot get the manipulators to hold the sword properly in sword mode. It's just too heavy, and it's heavy on the ends, so it sags down and just pops right out of the manipulator. So it doesn't really work as a sword, or at least I can't get it to work. The GN Sword 2 blaster is stored under the right side GN drive using this attachment piece here. Fold the stock all the way down, put the handle out of the way a little bit, and then you plug these two together like that, and then this peg plugs into this hole here under the GN drive, and there you go. It holds it pretty well, but it can pop off if it moves around too much. And the GN drive seems to hold it up pretty well even without the lock in place, so that's cool. Next up is the GN Buster Sword 2. This is a large broadsword kind of weapon. Again, really nice detail molded into the plastic, but not a lot of color. Just a big chunk of white, blue, and some gray on the back and front. The handle or hilt can go in and out. The hand guards can pop out like that, and if you pull on the white blade away from the body, you reveal 5 clear channels that allow the light from the LED to shine through. The LED is hidden on the back underneath this panel. Slide it down and use a modeler's knife or whatever to pry it out, and then the LED can store in there, and you can see there's a clear white piece that helps channel the light throughout the sword to the unique points here. Also on the back we have a handle that's on the swivel, as well as a connection point here that hides away. If you fold it out, this is how you connect the sword to the GN drive. And this is a much more stable connection, I believe, than on the GN Busters or the GN Blaster Sword 2. But this is a heavier weapon, so it doesn't hold its weight as well, unless you engage the lock to kind of keep the wing out like that. Being a large weapon, this is definitely a hard thing for the mobile suit to hold onto, even with the deep channels for the manipulator pegs. It just will not hold the sword up, or at least I can't get it to work that way. But there's another option to display this piece besides holding it like a sword. If you use this attachment piece here and plug it into the GN or the LED bay like that, you can attach this to the back of the arm like that. So pretty good, secure connection, but I think it's just too big for it to hold as a sword. Next up are the GN Sword 2s. This time we have a short and a long version, this one being the long. Like the GN Sword 2 Blaster, this has two modes, one being a sword mode, and if you pull the blade out, spin it, plug it back in, and bring the guard down, split the handle and bring it down as well, you have a rifle. The long version has a fold-away handle here, so that's pretty cool. Again, there's a lot of good detail here, but not a lot of color. So there's some nice detail molded into plastic, but it could definitely stand to have some extra color. The GN Sword 2s plug into the side skirts using these attachment points here. Plug it in there. Then on the side skirts you can reveal the mounting point. You have a good secure connection. Here's the GN Sword 2 short version, more like a dagger, I suppose. This can form into a rifle, or I guess a gun version, just like the other GN Sword 2. So that's pretty cool. The unique thing about this is the blade splits in half, and when using those pieces along with the included stiff wire, you can have, so by plugging the wire into either end, you can have a little beam, a little effect kind of thing going on, like with the fin funnels from the High New Gundam or whatever. So that's kind of cool. The last of the new weapons are two identical guitars. These are stored on the knees with the attachment point here. There's a nice clear green effect part, a decent sized white and blue, and it's with some good channels for lining. The handles are retractable. They can store closed like this or be pulled out. And there's the hand holds here. So both are the same, but you can also attach these pieces to each of the guitars to give them a different look, I guess. So in the back, you plug the handle into that area there. So this way you can either close it or extend it. I think it helps them look nicer, but I don't like how there's a lot of empty space here, open plastic. There should be like a panel or something over that, or just have a solid piece of plastic. So that's unfortunate. So with both guitars being attached to the additional pieces, and with this third piece, you can join them together to form a long 7th sword. Again, it looks kind of bad along the back here, not having these areas covered up, and it probably help the stability a little bit more if these were covered somehow. But you have two deep channels for the manipulators to hold on to. Let's see how that works. So with the manipulator plugged into place, we have a pretty secure connection that isn't too heavy and can be posed pretty well, as long as the peg stays in the hole, I guess. But again, it's unfortunate that the back here is exposed like that. So I enjoyed the look of the guitars. I think combined they form a pretty cool looking weapon. And I dig the clear green parts for the blade edges. So as this fully armed and operational 00 Gundam spins around here, I'm going to point at it with my beam saber and tell you a few of my opinions. Overall, I really enjoy the design of this kit. The look of the mobile suit itself is really pleasing to me. I really enjoy the GN Sword 2 blaster for the design of the rifle and the blade here. The Buster Sword 2 would be better if it had more color, but some paint or stickers would help with that. The GN Sword 2 short and long are pretty groovy, although I prefer the long version over the short. The guitars are just fine. They have a couple different modes and a couple different ways to display it, so I think they're really good. Because the mobile suit itself is a fun build, and the weapons can be troublesome, but overall it's a good experience, and it looks nice. And if you can find a way to pose it and keep it that way, all the better. So I wanted to take a minute to thank you guys who watched my first video review. It's definitely been a interesting experience putting all this stuff together to make the review work, or hopefully work. Please let me know what I did right or what I did wrong. I want to get better, and I want to make better videos for you guys. So please, if you have the time, comment on my channel or the video itself, and let me know what I can do better. So from everybody at Team Gundam Guy, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.